Before we start, I want to ask that you drop a like on this video. The channel has been struggling a bit lately and the added boost will really help, and it's much appreciated. Recently, LeBron James has had the best game that he's had in pretty much a year, where he dropped 39 points, 12 rebounds, and 16 assists, doing so on 23 shots, and because of this, with how reactionary everyone in the NBA fan base is, people have been overreacting and saying that this is proof that LeBron is and has always been the best player in the NBA, and people who put players over him last year are dumb. Now, as someone who put 3 players over LeBron in my top 100 player list, would be 4 if Kevin Durant was not injured for the entire year, those players being Kawhi Leonard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Stephen Curry, I'm obviously not a fan of that thinking, being that it would make me the dumb one. And that's impossible, because I'm like a genius, I know everything. But I will say that this game, along with the triple-double that he had following it, granted he did so shooting 35%, did remind me a bit of how good LeBron really is. He has made it pretty easy to forget since going to the Lakers. There really were not many holy fuck LeBron James's really good games last season, because in LA, it didn't seem like he cared as much. Many clips of him not trying on defense, he would routinely walk up the court and take the easiest shot available, often pulling up from way downtown when he had no business doing so. His numbers were the same old LeBron numbers, but above all else, the Lakers losing made it just not feel the same. I think the fact that LeBron's team was not at the top of the league anymore and actually eventually out of the playoffs made us move him down a few pegs. Now, many people would view that as us just underrating him now because of many factors outside of his own control, and it was people like me forgetting how good LeBron is and not him actually getting worse. Now, I obviously disagree. You can read the title, so let's talk about why I feel this way. LeBron James over the last year in LA has looked a step slower than he has in the past. His effort pretty much completely went away that year. I think a lot of that was due to the fact that it was pretty much a year that they did not expect to contend. He had the first major injury of his career, which kept him out for a handful of games. The Lakers were the 4th seed in the West before this injury with nothing but prospects around LeBron, but that injury really fucked them in the playoff seeding, so once LeBron was back, they were fighting for the 8th seed, which they did not get. And like I said, people view that as LeBron becoming underrated because of his injury, as if it didn't happen, the Lakers were gonna win the fucking championship. Make the playoffs or don't make the playoffs, I'm 100% sure that LeBron would not have been viewed as the best player in the NBA anymore after last year. At best, they were going to lose in the second round. So no, I don't think the fact that they missed the playoffs is the reason that LeBron has slid down in the standings. I think the 2 main factors in LeBron moving down a few spots, aging being one that I'm not really adding in there, though it's probably in there a little bit. His effort went down, but more importantly, I feel the other players in the NBA who used to be below him just got a good bit better. If you think about it, over the last few years, the top tier of NBA players has not really changed that much. The only significant addition has been Giannis Antetokounmpo, and that's pretty much it. Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden have all been in their own tier, 1 step below LeBron, but a few steps above everyone else in the league. That's pretty much been it since 2015. Russell Westbrook was in that mix as well, but he fell out and was never above LeBron, so he isn't a factor in this anyways. But when you look at those names that I've mentioned, they've pretty much all gotten better since they were established at the top of the league. Steph, I think, has had some under the radar improvement. Obviously, 2016 was his peak, and I actually think that year he was on par with LeBron James, at least for the regular season. But I do think he's gotten better since then. I don't have any real statistical evidence to back that up, but it's really just how I feel from watching him play. I don't expect you to take that as legitimate. I just thought I'd get my weakest point out of the way. Durant has racked up his efficiency over the last few years. Part of that was the Warriors, but credit where credit is due for making the shots. He also went from a good defender to a great defender, from solid to good at playmaking as well. Who knows how good he'll be when he comes back, but if he's as good, which is probably unlikely, I would put him over LeBron James. James Harden has boosted his passing numbers, taken a step from a great scorer to an all-time scorer. He also went from a meme of a defender to an alright one. But as for the two guys that I have above LeBron James that I have a strong backing for, Giannis Antetokounmpo in the 2018-19 season went from 52% shooting from the field to 58%, from 10 rebounds a game to 12.5, went from 5 to 6 assists a game, made a Defensive Player of the Year bid, and more importantly, his play was translating to wins. Did he necessarily improve over those 2 years, or was it more the shooting and coaching? Well, I think it was a mix of both, but even if it was all on the coaching and shooting, regardless, Giannis's talent was able to be used in a winning manner, and winning kills all doubts. So even if he didn't actually get that much better, he finally proved that his talent was able to be translated into the win column. He is still as good as he is, it was just not acknowledged beforehand because it wasn't transitioning to wins. It's kind of like how I feel about Zach LaVine. I think Zach has the talent of a top 30 or so NBA player, maybe a little bit below 30, but I won't put him there in my official rankings until I see him start winning. As of now, I have him in the mid-40s. Now as for Kawhi, I think he just fully proved himself as an individual talent with that 2020 championship. Not just by winning, but it was how he did it. 30 points per game en route to the finals, hit a Game 7 buzzer beater that will go down as one of the greatest shots of all time. It also proved he was his own man separate from the Spurs system, and it's another case of winning kills all doubts. Maybe he was always this good and it just took that next level of winning for us to finally recognize it. Nevertheless, he moved up a lot of people's rankings, as did Giannis. By starting to win some games. For Kawhi, it was winning a championship. Now let's move on to LeBron. There is another take around LeBron's potential decline that I do understand where LeBron fans are coming from. LeBron is known for coasting in the regular season. It's something that he's been doing for a while now, pretty much ever since the 2013 season. After that, LeBron was like, fuck giving 100% effort, I'll give like 80% for the regular season and turn it to 110% in the playoffs. I get why he does that. I honestly think it's smart. Old heads and boomers have a problem with it, but it's the regular season, so who gives a fuck? But here's the thing, it's really not anyone's fault but LeBron's if doing that leads to people underrating him. Outside of one game, LeBron has deferred to Anthony Davis more so than he probably ever has in his playing career. And with that has sparked a whole debate around who is actually the Lakers' best player. If I were a Lakers fan, I wouldn't lose any sleep because at the very worst, you have 2 top 6 players in the NBA, so who gives a shit? The only positive improvement this year is LeBron has been trying more on defense. If that keeps up, if you want to say LeBron is the best player in the league, I definitely wouldn't be mad at you, because that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me and many other people, I assume. But another thing I want to tackle is that I think the fact that you can watch a Lakers game and you really can't tell who is the better player between LeBron and Anthony Davis proves that he is definitely not the undisputed number 1 player in the league like he has been for many years in the past. Not by any stretch. Either he's not on that level anymore, or other players have elevated themselves to that level. If I'm looking at the top players in the NBA, I really don't see a whole lot of difference in talent between them. It really is give or take. Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden, Anthony Davis, Stephen Curry, and LeBron James. These dudes are all in the same tier for me. I really think the difference is pretty negligible. The reason people are desperate to grip onto LeBron as still the best player in the NBA is seniority. A lot of these guys have been up there with the best of them, but Kawhi and Giannis have only recently moved up there, so people are sticking with LeBron. But in conclusion, I don't normally conclude videos, but this one's all over the place, so I kind of have to. In conclusion, I believe LeBron James has gotten a little bit worse over the past year, and I believe some of the players that were originally behind him have gotten pretty significantly better. And it's led to LeBron no longer being the number 1 player in the NBA. Now, I may have had some doubts about this take with LeBron starting to play some defense again, but 1, I'm not entirely convinced that that will hold up, at least for the regular season, and 2, Kawhi has vastly improved in his offense by upgrading his passing. He's averaging 6 assists a game to open the year, has a good assist to turnover ratio for his usage, and actually watching the games, his playmaking is bordering on elite in terms of vision. It's just next level. I don't even know how you improve that much, but he did it. So with Kawhi being the great defender and great scorer that he is, adding great playmaking on top of that, I have to put him over LeBron James because of that. It is subjective, and as I said, this is all pretty negligible in terms of difference between these players and talent, so you can actually have LeBron at number 1 and I don't really care that much. Really, this is a whole subjective thing and it depends on what you value and all that, but this is why I don't have LeBron number 1, though it's negligible, so this video is actually kind of pointless. Anyways, drop a like if you enjoyed, or drop a like if you didn't. I don't give a shit if you enjoyed, just drop a like. That's the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.